Hi, welcome back to Mom and Jess Moment Talk Show. One insightful episode in the family series. So today we have an interesting episode with title The Significance of Godly Family Values. I find this a very, very important topic because we know what is prevailing in most families these days, especially if the families are not God fearing or the parents are not God fearing. There's tendency that the children go wayward. Regardless, nevertheless, there are also families that the parents are doing well in raising the children, but they choose to be wayward. So it's important, very, very important that parents, are mindful of the kind of principles and values they set in the home, because it is always said that the way parents live, the examples they show, is what children often follow. A family that prays together always stays together and do things in one accord. Carrying the children along in everything you do is very important. So if you ask me, there are 3 or 4 important family values that I think every family, if they are God-fearing, should look into. First of all, they should make Christ, they should put God first in everything they do. Let the children grow up with that mindset that they ought to put God in everything that everything that has to happen. It has to start with God, starting every day with prayers. Like for instance, you wake up in the morning, it should be inculcated in their system so that whatever they find themselves tomorrow or in the future, they know that before they start their day, they just kneel down and commit everything, all the activities of that day into God's hands. So putting God first, I feel and I think, is the most important principle or that should be instilled, or value that should be instilled in the home. And it will help the children go a long way in such a way that wherever they are, whatever they are stuck with, whatever issues or circumstance they find themselves, they will always know that they ought to put God first. Even when the dad or mom is not there to assist or render one help or the other, God is with them. So having that built or inculcated in their mindset from onset, it goes a long way in building the destiny, the future of that child. So putting God first is number 1. Secondly, I would love to say integrity stands out a lot. Any child that has integrity will definitely be a child of character, because a person of integrity will always be mindful of the kind of characters he portrays, not only outside or inside. When we talk about integrity, what's integrity? Integrity, it's all about, not what you do inside is what you do outside. And definitely, if you live a principled life, integrity has to do with living a principled life. It tends to rub off on you and your character wherever you are, at school, at the place of work, and even at home in the family. So if parents have this value or principle, the principle of integrity, definitely the children will go a long way. If parents that are truthful, keep to their promises, little things of keeping to your promises rubs off on integrity of a child. If you often promise children, okay, I'll do this for you, and you don't meet up with such expectations, they tend to take you on seriously. So when you lay that foundation, those principles, they grow up with it. And by the way, if you're a parent that is fond of making promises and not keeping to it, your children will definitely grow up with such kind of manner. It might sound very trivial in the first place, but when you have children that are not keeping up to their promises or expectations, it leads to deceit and dishonesty and all of that. So it's a web that connects other attributes that are not good or doesn't say well of a character of a person. So it's important that families or godly families should inculcate the principle of integrity. Then thirdly, I'll look at love. Love, in fact, should come after putting God first. But nonetheless, love is something that should be instilled in the home. They say Christ loves the church, and the husband should also love the wife the way Christ loved the church. So it all starts with the head of the family. If the head of the family is showing this love to the family, then there's tendency for them to pay back, be able to accommodate your children. I'm not saying that you should love them to a fault. There should be firmness with love. There should be boundaries. Boundaries should be set where children should not go off limit or go out of excess. They should not be they shouldn't go over the board. But at the same time, even the Bible reminds us that when you came with one hand, you use the other hand to bring closer. So there's a way to you discipline a child in love, and at the same time let children understand why they are being disciplined. And when they grow up with knowing how to treat each other with love, it's easier for them to have this built inside of them. And what is built inside of them is what radiates out, even when they are out in the society or in the environment they find themselves. So another value that stands out for me is respect. Respect. This is lacking a lot in our schools, in the societies. Parents leave their children to at the detriment of teachers, and teachers are overwhelmed. I've watched a lot of videos where children are being disrespectful. There's even a point that some children beat up their teacher and all that, even stabbing each other in school. I mean, it starts with disrespect. When there's no respect in the home, there's tendency for children, to be violent, to be aggressive, not to manage their emotions. I can understand that children can get angry in one way or the other, but being able to manage their emotions, if they are being taught that out of respect, it should be a principle that they should apply from home. And then when they go out, they're able to also manifest it in such a way that even when someone offends them, they're able to manage their emotions, not like they're stupid, but doing it in a well-mannered and behaved way. Such kind of children usually stand out, and their character usually speaks for them. So I would also love to speak about humility. Raising children to be humble, regardless of how wealthy you are as a parent. Let your children understand the principle of humility, trying to reach out to those people that are less privileged, in form of empathy. But it all starts with humility, because if you don't have humility, there is no other way you can be able to have empathy. Empathy is a bit related to humility. So it starts with being humble. When a child learns to be humble, regardless of what he has, it speaks volumes. Because now when the child finds himself or herself in some kind of position or turns out to be a leader, he'll be a servant leader. He'll be a leader that wants to show by actions, and people will love to emulate. So I pray the Lord will help us as we raise our children with setting this kind of values. Then, most importantly, being a child, raising compassion, being compassionate, and which also is related to being having that empathy, being able to feel, put yourself in people's shoes. There are some families that I know they do not say sorry, like they don't see the value of saying sorry or saying thank you. Little things as this goes a long way. Somebody is in pain. Oh, feel the emotions of the person. When someone is sad, noticing that the person is sad. Some people don't even, they throw a nonchalant behavior when they see people going through some emotions. When you grow up, when you raise children that learn to be that are taught to be compassionate, they're able to make a difference in the society they find themselves, and they're able to try to see how they can inspire and encourage as many as possible. So with all of this, I believe that there are very important godly family values that children should be taught, and above all, teaching them the word of God. Any child that is being taught the word of God from the onset, they grow up to know these things. They grow up to understand all of these principles, because all of these principles I've mentioned are embedded in the word of God. So I pray the Lord will help us. Please, I want you to sit back, and we'll catch up with our guests very soon. The Onolapmos, they are doing justice to this topic. Believe me, you'll be blessed, because the wife, by the grace of God, is a Sunday school teacher at my church, and a very good one at that. My children have learned so much from her to the glory of God, and I've been blessed. I've been blessed knowing her, because through her, my kids have learned a lot of things. Not like I'm not playing my role, but when children go to church that is well grounded, they also learn from their Sunday school teachers. Hence the reason I thought she and the husband should do justice to this topic. So sit back. I'm telling you, you won't want to miss this for anything. There's a lot this couple will have to share with you. Until then, see you next episode. Bye.